There's been some talk about the oversaturation of Ma Maniere Jordan collaborations, with some people feeling kind of bored with what they're coming out with. You can expect the violet, purple, burgundy type of color. Throw it on a shoe with a bunch of branding and rinse and repeat. Sometimes they'll tease us with like a diffuse blue instead of the usual colors, but generally we do know what to expect when it comes to Ma Maniere. Now let me remind you, it was only about 3 years ago when the Jordan 3 Ma Maniere came out. People were talking about that shoe with their shirt off. And since then, they've come out with so many shoes with Jordan brand and Nike, like as many as Anthony Edwards or Dwight Howard knocks up baby mamas. There's even kind of like a viral meme in the sneaker world where people are finding their Jordan 4s at Ross or like Burlington's. But I've always said, and I've always maintained, if you just look at their shoes in a vacuum on a shelf with no prior context, to me, generally, I think they still look really, really good. It's still very well thought out. So with that said, what about their latest collaboration? Ma Maniere Air Jordan 4 Dark Mocha, built for this homecoming. And the shoe is dropping on December 23rd for $230 on sneakers. It's already dropped in Ma Maniere's website like on December 15th. The raffle was already chosen. A lot of people probably did get their pairs already, but sneakers release is December 23rd, and this is part of the built for this collection. The earlier Jordan 6 also was part of that collection, so this is the follow-up and sequel. I think it's the last Ma Maniere shoe that we're going to get this year. And of course, like all Ma Maniere collabs, there's going to be like a detailed story and inspiration behind the shoe. So this one, I'm just going to quote what they say on their website. The Homecoming collection is a chapter rooted in reflection, gratitude, and earned acknowledgement. This moment honors the journey, the weight of the work, and the stories that shaped it. So if you want to know more, go to mamaniere.com. They have like a short clip about the collection overall and a lot of description behind the shoe, which is something I appreciate because we all know the description on sneakers is hot trash. It's garbage. They never really give you a full breakdown behind the story of a shoe. It's just, yeah. Anyway, first impressions of this shoe. I generally do really like the dark mocha colorways on different shoes, different Jordans. Like it's been used on the Jordan 1s, of course. And in general, this brown, at least up close, it might differ a little bit in the video. So keep that in mind. Might be a little brighter on your screen than it is up close in person. But generally, I think this is dark enough where it works really well. What I don't love are the hints and accents with the different colors. So I think it's just a little bit too much, which I'll get to a bit later when I talk about like the midsole and cushioning of the shoe. But I think there is just one too many colors in terms of the accents on this shoe. Personally, I think if it was a little bit more monochromatic, a little simpler, it would have looked really nice. And the materials on the shoe, it is completely nubuck. And the nubuck here, true to a lot of Ma Maniere collaborations where Jordan brand clearly treats it a bit more special than like a general release. It feels really nice. It is not like the most plush type of velvet feeling nubuck, but yeah, you can definitely feel and smell like the quality of this type of material on the shoe. And in terms of this color, I know a lot of images kind of look slightly different. Even in this video and the B-roll, it's going to look a little different than how it actually looks in real life. But up close in hand, it has kind of like a dark brown shade. So it's probably a little darker than what you see on screen. And it does just look like a mocha color, mocha shade that you would expect. But sometimes when the lighting hits, just brightens this up a little bit. So just keep that in mind. And of course, a very distinct thing about the Jordan 4, it is the netting as well as the wings here. The wings up top, that is pretty much like a regular Jordan 4. It's got this kind of TPU rubber feel to it. And in terms of the netting though, or like behind the netting where the tongue shows through, that actually very subtly has Ma Maniere branding. It's not the first time they've done that. Another place where you see that type of branding is right behind the tongue. And while we're here, you do see the upside down Jordan tag on one shoe, but on the other one, on the right shoe, it has Ma Maniere branding upside down as well. And the tongue itself is mismatched as well. So where you have Ma Maniere behind the tongue at the front, it actually has a regular Jordan Jumpman flight tag. Flight concept did originate on the Jordan 4s. And on the other shoe, they flipped it around. You get Ma Maniere branding there on the tongue. And the shoe does come with one extra set of laces. So out of the box, just these black or dark gray wax laces And the extra set is this kind of pinkish or very light gray type of color. And the lace tips on the extra set actually says work harder. You don't see that on the black set of laces. But out of the two, I do think these pink laces do look pretty good. I think it gives this shoe an extra pop. I do like that. Now, in terms of these eyelets, like the 4, the 2 up the top, the 2 at the bottom, where you loop the laces through, it does have this kind of violet or kind of plum violet shade to it. So keep that in mind. That is not like dark gray or anything. And then wrapping around to the booty of the shoe, you will just get Nike Air branding. Some special releases and collaborations does get Nike Air treatment. Usually OGs get Nike Air treatment as well. And then non-OG releases gets the Jumpman on the back. And then behind the heel tab of the Jordan 4, sometimes Ma Maniere will like hide a message in there. I think the past Jordan 4s, like the Violet Ore, nothing there this time. And in terms of the softness of the heel tab, it's decently soft, not like an SB Jordan 4, where it's very springy, but it's not super stiff, where like a few years ago, some Jordan 4s came with just rock solid heel tabs, or at least it felt that way, and it could really dig into your Achilles. I don't think you're going to have a problem there. And like a lot of other Ma Maniere collaborations as well, this lining here inside the ankle collar is all kilted, so it kind of elevates and gives this shoe a more luxurious vibe. And that's the common theme for all like Ma Maniere Jordan brand collaborations. They clearly make an effort to elevate the shoe a little bit, make it more elegant. And that's why you see a slightly higher price point. It is an SP, so a special project, definitely like a premium shoe. So the kilted lining plays into that whole theme. And in terms of the cushioning of the Jordan 4s, it does come with a polyurethane midsole with a Nike Air visible on the heel, of course, as well as one on the forefoot. And the midsole here, this is probably my biggest gripe around the shoe. So there are a few different colors, so extending onto the outsole too. But first, you get some almost olive green color, and then a little bit of sail on the rest of that midsole towards the heel. On the medial side, it extends further up. And then on the outsole itself, it is like this violet kind of purple shade with this dark burgundy on the toe as well as the heel of the shoe, and the Nike branding in the cutout. That is usually meant for OG releases. Special collaborations do get Nike branding there too. Non-OG general releases usually just gets a Jumpman there. But all these colors around like the bottom and cushioning of the shoe, I think it's just a little bit too much. If I had to choose, I would make it a bit more consistent. Me, just me, it is my personal preference. It is just colors that some people like, some people don't. For me, I think the combination of these is just a little bit too busy. I would have liked a more monochromatic type of shoe or colorway, but it is what it is. And the shoe, just like a lot of other Ma Maniere collaborations, does also come with this keychain, hang tag, whatever you want to call it, Nike Air branding. And in terms of the insole, you will see more subtle Ma Maniere branding there. So the logo is all over. That is not new for their collaborations as well. They've done this before. And in terms of the quality of the insole, it is a polyurethane insole. Very good. Expected nothing less. For polyurethane insoles, usually what you can expect is like a good type of thickness, and the more you wear it, the more it kind of molds to your feet. Just adds a bit more comfort to a pretty uncomfortable shoe in the Jordan 4. And unlike some past collaborations with Ma Maniere, there is no hidden message like under the insole, or you don't have to go digging around to try and find it. And in terms of the box, you will get this gray box. I really like what they did with the lid here. So they tried and create this kind of leather aesthetic and texture to it. Very subtle Ma Maniere and Jumpman branding on the top of the lid, and the artwork inside the lid that you also see on that Jordan 6 collaboration a few months ago. And on the paper inside, very, very subtle again, you will get Ma Maniere branding. And in terms of sizing comfort, I am a wide and flat footer for Jordan 4's recent releases from the past few years. I've been able to just go true to size, and my toes and pinky won't really get absolutely strangled. They've kind of fixed the shape of the shoe where it doesn't run too small. And it's the same thing here. I know sometimes people might worry when they change like the lining of a shoe to like kilted lining, is it going to create less space inside the shoe? People might need to go half size up. For me personally, for my big fat ugly wide feet, I've still gone true to size, and it actually fits pretty well. Now overall comfort wise, generally Jordan 4s are not the most comfortable. It just feels like a brick. Feels kind of stiff, kind of boxy. This one actually felt all right. I still don't think it's as comfortable in terms of Jordan retros as like Jordan 13s or the 5s or the 3s, Jordan 14s, but it's actually better than some other Jordan 4s, like especially right out the box. the Jordan 4 Midnight Navy that came out a few years ago, that actually felt like I was wearing tables on my feet. That just was so stiff, such a brick. Did not like that at all. This one, slightly better. And that brings the total sole score of the Ma Maniere Jordan 4 Dark Mocha built for this homecoming to 39 out of 50. A pretty good score compared to other collaborations. Now first, it is colorway. Out of all the Ma Maniere colorways, and even though some people seem to be getting bored of the same type of thing being recycled and repeated, I think, in a vacuum, most Ma Maniere colorways are still really nice. That burgundy, violet, orange shade, it's kind of like a cheat code. You stick that on a shoe, elevates a little bit. It is a color that like royalty would use back in the day, so there's kind of that human association, even if it's subconscious, with the color burgundy, and I just think it looks really good on sneakers. This colorway though, yeah, like I said, the dark mocha is really nice. I love brown or like mocha shoes. I think it looks really good, but there's just one too many colors in terms of the accents that I think kind of brings it down a little bit. I just think it's a little bit too much. Still, overall, a pretty nice looking shoe. And in terms of the materials, nothing surprising here. Ma Maniere usually does come pretty correct in terms of their collaborations with Jordan Brand. They treat them very special. It is a special project. Better have come with really nice materials, and the nubuck does feel really good. I do wish Ma Maniere would give us like leather, although nubuck and suede are just forms of leather, like treated differently. But I'm talking about leather that you kind of intuitively think of. I wish, and I can't remember the last time their collaboration actually just used plain, really nice, thick, but also soft leather once you break it in. I kind of wish they would drop a shoe with that type of material. And in terms of the comfort, I think the ceiling in terms of comfort for a Jordan 4 is pretty capped. Usually it is stiff, it is kind of boxy, gotta really break it in. Even after that, it doesn't feel too good. This one out of the box actually feels a little bit better than some other Jordan 4s that come out of the box. It does not like hurt your feet, but it also isn't like pillows and clouds on your feet either. And in terms of the versatility, the Jordan 4s I think are probably the most wearable sneaker or Jordan after the Jordan 1s. It is absolutely mainstream, a very, very versatile shoe in terms of the wearability of the colorway. I think brown shoes, especially as you get older, you just tend to like brown more, whatever it is. It's like, I don't know, it's like a strong correlation with getting older and being washed. So I think brown is quite wearable as well. All the other different colors in terms of the accents on the shoe, I think might be a little bit much, but thankfully there's no like accents or colors on the shoe that's too bright. Just makes it very hard to wear. So overall, a pretty decently versatile shoe. And in terms of the storytelling, I think Ma Maniere has set just too high of a standard for themselves when it comes to storytelling. So the While You Were Sleeping pack that came out last year, the unboxing experience for that is just, it was bonkers, it was nuts. Like, they came correct. So comparatively, like relative to what we know they can do, is not as much, even though still their description on their website, the video that they created, the unboxing of this shoe in particular, or the branding on the shoe, the subtle branding as well, is really well done. I think just compared to some of their past recent collaborations, it's not as detailed or as bonkers in your face. So yeah, they just set a super high standard for themselves. Still, compared to other collaborations, really, really well done. In today's throwback of the day, it is the Jordan 4 Dornbecker, designed by Isaiah Scott, that dropped on November 5th of 2011. And if you didn't know, the Dornbecker series is a partnership with the, I can't remember the name, but it is a hospital. I will put it right here. But it is a collaboration with the hospital to design shoes with kids and youth that are struggling with some life-changing or debilitating disease. And all the proceeds goes to charity. But this shoe in particular was designed by Isaiah Scott. It was battling leukemia, and it really was just one of the most out there and bold type of playful designs on a Jordan 4 ever. So you will see a primarily nubuck upper with these arrows on the mudguard extending to the toe, and that is meant to represent life's ups and downs. And on the heel, you'll see Isaiah Scott's photo, and then on the tongue, you will see Superman's emblem, and that was actually the nickname given to Scott during his treatment. And the green also represents kryptonite, and the outsole here is completely different than what you would expect than a usual Jordan 4. So you'll see these comic book bubbles and just a overall very playful aesthetic. And this year, I think it's dropping maybe early in 2026, not sure of the release, but there was the Jordan 17 Dornbecker. The images were released and that looks absolutely delicious as well. Very good job. Now compared to the Violet or Jordan 4s that came out 2 or 3 years ago, can't quite remember what year, which one would I choose? Going with this one. I just think it's a little bit more simpler. Still has the Ma Maniere DNA, but it's a little bit more monochromatic, I think. At least just first intuitive instinct. Just feels a bit more correct to me. But again, I stress, just my opinion. Colorway is very subjective. So if you prefer this one over this, you're completely justified. Let me know what you think. So that's it. Thanks for watching. So inclined. Let me know what you think of the Ma Maniere Air Jordan 4 Dark Mocha build for this homecoming. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come to wear your shoes.